Well, Nicholas was a really nice-natured little baby, and he developed strong aggressions and some fairly violent mood swings. Within, half an hour, I'd notice a difference between being quite cheerful to being very angry and some violence coming out in that.
If we were going out, it was such a big thing to prepare him for it. Didn't like the out of change of routine.
Middle ear infections, she had 3 of those. Also suffers from eczema.
He could just get a toy and he would just destroy it. He'd pinch his brother, he'd bite, he'd hit, he'd kick.
Show absolutely no remorse at all.
No remorse, no.
He continually got sick with viruses, one after the other. The doctor would just give me secular medicine, and it just didn't improve at all. He had no immune system whatsoever.
Mood swings, stomach pains, restless sleeping.
He was obsessed about the TV, and he'd have to have it on his channel. Whatever he was watching, it had to be Blue's Clue. He was obsessed with it. He'd had to watch that.
He's 3 years old now, and he still hasn't got a favourite toy.
I would say that the first worry was the bowel movement not happening at all. Once in a week wasn't very good.
He couldn't find his room. He didn't even know his name was Jordan. He didn't know that Mum and Dad, to put a face to it. He would call Dad Day.
He was pale too, I remember.
He
dark circles.
Had very pale skin, rarely had red cheeks unless he'd been out in the heat, and very dark circles under his eyes, and he slept quite poorly.
She was fighting with herself constantly, and we noticed that with the change in the diet and sugars and all the help that we had with the extra vitamins and the whole program in itself, that she was no longer fighting.
After he was vaccinated, he just screamed uncontrollably.
Noticed the changes after she got her 18th month shot.
This went on for quite a while. Probably about a week.
Yeah.
She got her shots in the 2:30 in the afternoon. Come home, gave her a bit of Panadol like before a shot, and she was all right through the day. By 6 o'clock when we bathed her, we put her in the bath, and her arm was huge. And that's when my husband said, what's going on here? So I went straight to Belmont Hospital. They automatically transferred me straight to John Hunter. And then she was put straight on an antibiotic drip, and she was in hospital for 3 days for the swelling. It was probably double my arm.
Yeah.
We'd reached a point where we were like physically and mentally exhausted, because there was like no calming him, no pacifying him or anything like that. I'd fed him in the morning, put him back to bed, I went back to bed, and the exact same thing happened. But this time when I raced in and I picked him up, he was bluer, limper, and it took probably about an hour.
Longer to revive him.
Longer to revive him this time. Yeah, he wasn't breathing or anything like that, blue around the lips, and it's quite scary.
So
and
we knew absolutely nothing about the vaccinations.
No.
Yeah.
The side effects. All we were told was give him some Panadol, he'll be okay. Every kid gets a little fever, they're fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you that this may happen to 1 in every 1,000, but that's fine statistic for them. But we're living with the one.
Yeah.
Well, the next day, Jordan had the yeast-free bread and goat's milk and the vitamins and sugar-free diet. And all of a sudden he came up to me and started talking like Mum and Dad. And just like little words that, he should have been saying well before that. Knew who I was, and where before he didn't have any response to know who I was, or parents, or his brother or sisters, and it was just amazing. I was so surprised and so happy to know that he responded in that way.
It took probably nearly 2 months before we started to really see the response in him, and I'd say over a 6-month period it turned around completely. The aggression disappeared, not beyond what's normal for a little boy, but certainly his nature was much calmer. His skin improved, and the dark circles disappeared.
Well, after 2 weeks we found a remarkable change, a big improvement. Nicole, the colour came back to her face. She started to get more energy, was feeling less tired. just the energy improvement in her was a big change. We could get through to her, we could stop her, and to talk to her, whereas before we couldn't do that at all.
Stomach pain stopped. Sleeping through the night, quite good. Probably a week or so with the first one when we went to a service station and I told her she couldn't have a chocolate. And I was waiting for her to throw the chocolate bar and lay on the ground and kick and scream, but she didn't actually, just said, put it back, and off she walked. So I was very happy with that.
His bowels became alternating during this early period.
Yeah, and
they were upset, it's very smelly and so on.
Oh, smelly, and he'd scream and...
Yes.
Yeah.
Jordan's bowels improved tremendously. It wasn't dark anymore.
Nicole's bowels started moving practically straight away. We had immediate results. It was very good.
He became calm. He became calmer. He would look at you, and you could actually pick up a book and he could sit there and look at it without just shredding it and pelting it in your face. There was an absolute huge difference, because I used to take him to a playgroup and he used to attack the kids and everything like that, and I took him back there and he didn't attack one of the kids, and he sort of was looking as if to say, well, maybe I could join in here. Maybe I could come out. And like in the time, he's actually starting to say words and everything. Yeah, where
initiate
before,
conversation.
Yeah. He could never do that before. Like, it might be one word and you'd have to pick up what he wanted and what he didn't.
Instead of running around all the time and being unsettled, he just sat and played with her and read books and was just generally
A different child.
well behaved and a lot calmer and and it's really good when other people notice it as well.
You've seen a big change around with Jordan. He more social interaction since he started school, more playing, more interaction, knows names, puts the faces to the names. He knows that his name is Jordan. He loves wearing different clothing now, whereas before he didn't like the change of routine, didn't like the change of other clothes in his room, didn't even know where his room was, wouldn't know whether it was day or night, or go out and play outside if the TV was off. Can sit anywhere in the car if he wants to now, accepts change. If we have to go and do this, or mum's got to go here, there, accepts the change. Whereas I don't have to repair him like 2 days prior to that. Knows that his birthday is coming up, and he knows that he's turning 4. Just a big turnaround for Jordan. And now, whereas before he was, I was told at the age of 3, he was really the age of my youngest daughter at 19 months. Where I was dealing with 2 that are in nappies, and where now Jordan is up there where he's supposed to be in his age.
She was well inside herself where she wasn't before, and she seems much more comfortable. So she's happy to be there and happy to just to not run around, and be able to understand that she's doing much better now.
Yeah, each time Brock had a fever and he came out of it, there was always something new that he could do. He could say more words, or be more cooperative, or play nicely. Yeah, every fever he has, he progresses. He doesn't go backwards. No.
And you didn't give him any fever-reducing medicines?
No.
That was very good of you. Very brave of you.
Yeah, I just used a wet face washer.
They only lasted like 12 hours or overnight. They weren't constant.
No.
But what was the highest fever you measured?
40.5.
Yes.
Yeah, and he seemed to have like a convulsion with that, where he went really stiff and his eyes had rolled back in his head and all that. But I'd seen them with him between 3 and 6 months as well, so I knew that they weren't harmful.